I want to talk you through the scoping process that I go through as an individual while building out these automations for people. So there's a couple of different things that I do. So once I've had the call with them, it's normally quite clear exactly what it is that they want building. It's then just a case of building that out to kind of have that scenario. Hello, my name is Daniel Spence and I run Automation X, which is an automation agency that builds really cool automations and lead generation working, and that's done. The first couple of questions I'm asking is, what is their toolkit? Do they use Google? Do they use Microsoft? What's the kind of tools that they're using? And then obviously if there's specialized tools like meta ads and stuff like that, you will kind of build that out accordingly. So for example, the one that I'm working on at the moment, which to be fair, you'll get to the point where this is just instant and you don't need to draft it out, is a email responder. So client wants an email to be responded to. So watch for emails, second an email comes in, it replies. What you're going to want to do is obviously have a look and see what's available. But if you're new to building out automations, then it's a really good way to make sure that you've quoted for something that's actually possible. And if you're doing this pre-quote, then you can send them over a screenshot of what it's going to look like, which will get them very excited. So obviously we're clicking for watch emails on here. If they've got different providers and stuff, that's all within there. At a base level, they just want it to reply. I'm probably going to end up using an assistant because that's going to be trained on their company and so on. So realistically, that's what they want. If they just want something to generically reply to emails, then you probably still want to make the most of an assistant so it's still prompted in the right way. And then all you're going to want to do on here is send an email. Boom, there you go, you're done. However, there's a couple of bits in there that your client's probably not necessarily thinking about. For example, do they want it logging into a CRM? So I've got PR high level here, so just if you want to update a contact on there, just to kind of keep the CRM up to date. Realistically, are you going to want to reply straight away? I would normally recommend for that kind of stuff, unless they're like big focus is on AI. I would probably put a sleep module in here. So just put a slight delay. It can literally be like probably 300 seconds, which is a couple of minutes. They're all done in seconds for some reason. And if you need more than 300, like just do it twice or 3 times, or probably don't do it 15. But yeah, so that's what we've got to now. Okay, what else have they asked for? So obviously we're going to need to link all of this up and make it work. However, are they getting multiple forms of inquiries? So follow me for loads more tips. Let me put a router in here. What kind of inquiries are they getting? Is it complaints? Is it kind of other elements on there? So I'm going to add in here that the AI actually breaks down what it is that these what's the email about? Is it a complaint? Is it a new sales inquiry? And so on, so that then all of these can be prompted accordingly. So we can duplicate these. Helps if I select all of them. Duplicate that. Connect it up. Duplicate that. Connect that up. So now you've got a process of, okay, so if it goes up this way, we can set this up so that this is a new sales inquiry, which might actually be a different process. Do you actually want AI replying to your sales emails? Do you want it to be drafted so that you can have a look and edit it? These are the kind of questions that you need to be asking yourself and also your clients so that you know exactly what it is that they're expecting off the back of this. If it's a complaint, who does it need to go to? Do you want AI to respond to that? Is it just a general inquiry about price and stuff like that? Probably chances are you're going to want AI to do that. So you can kind of build that out accordingly. You might want to notify the team on Slack saying that, oh look, there's a new sales opportunity in here, and just link that up so that it sends a message at the end of it. You might want to actually change this one to a module where it just drafts the email out. So instead of it just creates a draft. You might even want it to then email the individual who's going to be dealing with it and send it on. Or it might be a case that on this one, you need to CC an individual in it. So on here, you can add multiple people in. So maybe you just want to CC somebody else in the email so that then at least they know what's going on. So you can see how very, very quickly this can get more and more complicated from the 3 steps that we started with. That's kind of really where the value add of automation is and what you're charging for. Anyone can come along and connect 3 modules together, but what you're going to be building is something more powerful than that, and it needs more depth to it. Another thing to kind of think about where this plays into. So when somebody sends an email, when somebody replies to this, is it worth logging that in a database so that you've got access to all of the replies and conversations that have been had? Maybe. Probably not necessary for everyone if you've got a little corner shop and you just need something that answers these emails. Do you also want it to run 9 to 5? One of the modules that we have running at the minute it's an international company. They're based in the UK. However, most of their customers are in the States. So when they're out of hours, which is like most of the States' working day, they have AI running during the evening. So that then it admits it's AI. It says, "Hi, hit the follow button. You don't want to miss what's next." Sarah or whoever it is that you're dealing with in the UK has gone to bed now. But if you've got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them and pass all of the information over to Sarah and see how you get on. So it's a really, really powerful way to kind of like connect all of these up and link these modules together and make sure that the ecosystem that exists in works well. So there's so much you can play around with that most people don't even think about. And there's other things like, do you actually want this to run at regular intervals, or do you want it to be on demand, which will save them credits? There's so much. And then of course we get onto the training of the actual AI. So which assistant are you going to use? What are you going to train the assistant on, the prompting and stuff? I don't think really you need to spec that out now, because that will adjust as you go through the process, but just making sure that all of these things are possible. You might find out down the line that you need a reject written so that you can extract the emails out of it to make sure that's all logged into here, or have AI check if there's any phone numbers in the signatures of the email so that then you can update the CRM accordingly. They're all kind of elements that ideally you can think about now and make sure it works. But it's just kind of building it out so that it's all laid out nicely. Like you might just want an AI to summarize what the message has been said in Slack. You could even have Slack approve it so that you've got to say, yeah, send that email before sending it out. That would be a separate automation, but I hope that gives you a bit of a clearer idea of kind of what it is that you can do with this very simple toolkit, and how to kind of scope this work out for individuals. And imagine sending over a screenshot of this and being like, this is what I think your automation needs to look like. There's so much value in that. And people are going to be impressed by the workload that you're doing to kind of even just to draft it out, and then that justifies the £1,000 price tag that we attach to almost all of these automations that we build out. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.